We're sorry, your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check the number and dial again.
Hello, world of Young Life. My name's Mike. It's nice to meet you. I'm on Young Life staff, and I do the YLTV stuff. I'm also a volunteer wildlife leader. We are at some random person's house about to have a wildlife leadership meeting, and I realized this is the perfect introduction to this episode. YLTV is all about encouragement and equipping staff to get us back to the whys, get us back to the basics. And this episode in particular is for staff and for leaders to go to the basics of the 5 C's and just look at them and go, what are these and why, and what are some hacks, which we're about to do in our wildlife leadership meeting. In every episode of YLTV, underneath in the info in YouTube, you can find the individual links for videos. That way you can share those and just build off of. We hope it encourages you. Use them in your committee meetings, use them in your leadership meetings. Share them around the mission. It'll be awesome. God bless you. We love you. And I got to get to this meeting. See you guys. Adios.
There are all kinds of different kids. Middle school kids can be sweet or spicy. High school kids can be salty. And college students, well, they can be smoky. A Young Life leader goes where kids are, to hang out with them, to learn their names, to get to know them, to earn the right to be heard. But sometimes, kids want nothing to do with you. It can be awkward and weird, and hit or miss. Plus, it can feel difficult. That's why it's called work. But it's also fun and rich and pretty awesome if you just keep caring and showing up. Because that's what God did for us, becoming a human, Jesus, to be with us. And Jesus always seems to show up, spreading his love onto kids' lives and our friendships with them. Here's some hacks. Be yourself. Kids need an authentic, fun, and safe friend. Right after. Write down kids' names right after being with them, but not during. That's awkward. Pray names. Pray for the kids you just met. Plus, you'll remember their names the next time you see them. So, let's go get to know kids together. Contact work. It's the bread and butter of Young Life. Club. It can look like a lot of things. But the biggest thing, it's a celebration of relationships, where we share the good news of Jesus. A fun celebration of the kids we know, of the kids we don't yet know, and how Jesus is connecting all the pieces. Through music, games, and stories, we set up opportunities for kids to be kids. We do crazy skits and goofy walk-on characters to invite laughter and fun. We pivot when things don't go as planned. Then, after all that, things only get better. We open a Bible and make the stories about Jesus come alive. We tell our own real-life adventure stories with God, the hard stuff, the good stuff, and how God knows us and wants us to know him as well. We create an excellent shared experience that points to Jesus and the life he offers. Here's some hacks. Think kids first. Don't start with, what should we do? Instead, start with, how can we best connect with kids? Plan to use your gifts. Appoint a team leader. Make a club calendar and put the right people in the right places. Give 1 point. When it's talk time, storytell really well and captivate your audience with one simple point about your story, Jesus, and how the two collide. So, let's lead club together. Club. It's more than a party with a much bigger purpose. Since 1941, Campaigners has been Young Life's word for a smaller group of kids and leaders who read the Bible together and talk about following Jesus. In Campaigners, we have deep conversations about God, life, and the world around us. We unpack what it means to love and follow Jesus with our whole selves, with our heart, soul, mind, and strength. We do all of this so we can become who God designed us to be by becoming more like Jesus. As we read the Bible, we ask important questions like, what does this tell us about God, about ourselves, and the life He's inviting us into? And of course, we pray for friends, family, and people who need to experience God's love and meet Jesus for themselves. Here's some hacks. Share food, especially something sweet. Have a conversation and lead good discussion. It's still a sin to bore a kid with the gospel at campaigners. Pray names. Keep a visible list of the people you're praying for so you remember them every week. So, let's learn how to become more like Jesus together. Campaigners, it's where group discipleship happens. Well, we're back from camp and haven't slept for days. We put our phones away and got away, pushing our limits to free us from distractions and into adventure. Physical adventure and spiritual adventure. Both leaders and kids experience Jesus in tangible ways. Everything about camp captured the heart of kids, setting the table for deeper relationships. God was all over that place. He used water, dirt, all of His good creation to meet us. We ate great meals together around a table, like a family. At club, we were captivated by music, skits, and mostly, stories of Jesus. We heard the entire gospel story and had a chance to respond. We didn't process any of it alone. We had cabin time together and other sacred moments, like intentional silence and one-on-ones. Wow, what a gift. Here's some hacks. Rest up. The days leading up to camp, rest. You're gonna need it. Pray up. Pray for the camp staff, the speaker, the program, and your kids. We're all in this together. Follow up. Camp is a great shared experience to build from. So, let's journey with Jesus together. Camp. It's an adventure in relationships. Committee sets the table for local Young Life. It's a committed group of caring adults connected to their community, serving faithfully for a shared vision, wanting kids to know Jesus. Partnership, ownership, and relationship are the heart of Committee as they support their local Young Life staff and leaders who meet, know, and build friendships with kids. Committee's a place for people with all kinds of skills: brainstorming, developing, strategizing, networking, fundraising, and most importantly, praying. Committee reflects the community they serve, each member bringing diverse perspectives and wisdom. Like everything else in Young Life, Committee's all about relationships. The relationship between faithful committee and committed staff can impact a community for generations. Here's some hacks. Pray a lot. Pray, then pray again. Be an owner, not just a fan. Take next steps. Dream for the next kid, the next school, the next town, the next steps. So, let's cast vision and find resources together. Committee, committed to partner and support.
What we want to do in this next session here is to kind of simplify, hopefully empower you and inspire you in this wonderful calling that you've said yes to. Incarnation. See, the ministry is not one of come to us. This is foundational in Young Life. We go to kids. We walk into their lives. And it's grounded in the fact that God walked into our lives. He came into this world. And we don't go to kids and just declare that. We go to kids and live that we walk into their lives. So that what they are hearing, they are also seeing and experiencing. The second one is this, it's proclamation.
Mike, really quick, let me just say, if you ever get confused in Young Life, go.
You ever find yourself not knowing what to do?
Go.
Just
Go find some
go
kids.
find some kids. You're doing your job.
Yeah, don't leave the mission.
Yeah. No.
It's not what I was
See
saying.
you later. No. Clarity is important.
I know. Nikki was trying to leave. She's about to get up and go right now.
Woo!
No, if you ever find yourself like, hey, I wear too many hats, I'm not sure what to do, man, go live incarnationally with some students.
Go be some kids. Proclamation. We proclaim the reality of Christ in our lives. Clubs should be the celebration of the ministry you're already doing.
Say it again, please.
Clubs should be the celebration of the ministry and the relationships that you're already doing. So when they show up at club and you stand up or somebody else stands up and talks about Jesus, they're like, I've been seeing that for the last 6 months in my friends. It's this great aha moment of, oh my gosh.
So good.
Somebody just put words to what I've been experiencing.
Party,
They go to camp and it's the same kind of experience.
party with a purpose, I just think is not contextualized. The celebration of relationships? What? I can tell anybody in my community that. I can go to a community board. I can tell civic government, yo, I am celebrating the relationships I have at this particular location. That's what I want to promote. Does that make sense? We have to continue to be super contextual and not compromise. And knowing that club and camp are programmatic celebrations of relationship really is what I hope you take away from that.
Discipleship. So here's a principle that I've found over time. If you try to build young life, you'll kill people. Okay? If you build people, young life will grow. I guarantee it. If you build the bottom of this, the top will come alive. But if you're focusing on the top and just trying to build club and just thinking, man, if we could just have a better skit or a better this or that, if you're not doing the bottom part, if you're just trying to build young life, I mean, it will kill people.
Yeah.
Okay? But the beauty is, that's not what we're called to do. See, we're not called to build young life. If you remember from where we started, we're called to be kingdom builders. And we're called to go to people and build people. Go ahead.
No, keep going. I was just going to say, this is...
So, here's the magic of it all, right here. Contact work and discipleship. That's the core of who we are. If we ever stray from that, we've lost. It's contact work, discipleship, and all the rest are just tools that help all of that to happen. That we ought to have fun with it. So you guys have probably heard Jim Rayburn, this quote, it's a sin to bore a kid. And it's easy to think, well, that's why we do skits. It's why we have a lot of fun, right? That's why we have adventure. And it's true, we do. Adventure is important. But the idea here is it's a sin to bore a kid. That's not the full saying. Do you know what the full saying is? With the gospel. You guys know it. I love it. You guys know your history here. It's a sin to bore a kid with the gospel. Why? Because the gospel is not boring. Christian living is not boring. When it's vibrant and in community like Aswan's talking about, it's like, who doesn't want to be a part of that? Here's an interesting thing. You ever thought about this, why kids don't come to your meeting? Can we get real?
Yes, please.
Because they don't want to. Okay? It's true. They don't come because they don't want to come. Now you can ask the question, well, why don't they want to come? There's a lot to talk about there.
Yeah. And Mike, it's even worse when there's people there who don't want to be there. But we won't talk about that here.
We won't talk about Paul. Okay. It's a sin to bore a kid with the gospel. But you know, that's not all that Rayburn said. This is what he followed it up with. If you can't not do that, then you better get to know the one you're talking about a whole lot better. And I will suggest this. That is not just about our club talks being better.
Yeah.
That is not just about our camps being more fun. That is not just about, us having a deeper conversation, in campaigners. It's about the life of Christ in us, that there's something about us. Are you getting this? There's something about us that is different, that's attractive to kids.